I have an announcement. Or should I say a trigger warning. This episode will cause your big dumb balls to empty.
I guess that's a warning?
You will come buckets. Make sure you have one prepared.
Sort of silly sea shanty French fried titty fuck kind of music did you put in here, Michael?
This is called One-Eyed Maestro.
Also, why is it so goddamn loud?
It's not going to be loud for the listeners, but it's very loud for
but
us.
as of right now, I can't hear myself think.
I can't hear myself jerk.
Is this another... It's canon now. MacLeod for loads.
We have not had any load that was not the Mac attack. So you got to get ready for it. Sweet Mary Mother of God.
If you've ever played Kingdom Hearts, it almost sounds very like Kingdom Hearts rip-offy.
Yeah, like...
This is the music
Chinese
that Michael
knockoff.
hears in his head as he goes to see a prostitute. That is,
Sex worker.
I don't care. I am not encumbered by your fucking liberalist agenda, you silly sack of shit.
You SJW
Shane
cuck.
does not represent the views of the Disinformed podcast. Also, I noticed that you've been playing, speaking of sex workers, I saw that you've been playing more Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yes,
and
that has
completing many
happened.
missions. In
Many
fact,
missions. So many missions.
what was the, like, if your friend's on PlayStation, it'll show you, like, little updates or, like, what your friends are doing. And I think, I saw Shane, like, at, 1 o'clock in the morning, he's like, Shane is completing many missions. Oh.
And you son of a bitch. By the way, mellow greetings, lovely listeners, and welcome to this glorious and uproarious edition of the Disinformed podcast. I'm Shane.
I'm John.
And I'm Michael.
And that was some sort of weird Russian execution music that you just heard, so thank you.
The elephant did nothing wrong, but he paid the price.
Oh, Hitler
Ultimately.
did nothing wrong. That's according to, certain internet sources that would proclaim his innocence.
Speaking of
Ooh.
the internet,
That
this
was
is
a good
half loose
seed.
and half topic,
This is
Topic.
right?
Pickle?
Or is this... What are we doing?
Tapical.
What fucking Old Navy advertisement are we pulling this from? Is half loose fit, half scotchy-wochy, in an array of colors that would make you think of the United Nations of Benetton genitals.
Speaking of genitals, I'm hungry.
Well, I've got something for you here.
Well,
It'll be a light meal, I promise.
oof.
Bruh.
Bruh.
God almighty. So, for those that are uninitiated or unfamiliar with the podcast, I should preface, since I haven't for about 12 episodes, that what we do here from time to time, occasionally maybe, is we like to talk about an esoteric topic, and in the course of explaining the topic, we are going to lie about said topic. It is then incumbent upon the co-hosts of the podcast.
Podcast.
I'm swallowing my own soul. I'm sorry, give me a second. It is incumbent upon the co-hosts of the podcast to then proclaim what those lies are and
Posse.
catch them in the moment. To yell out the word posse whenever
Posse.
possible. So, and then we'll have a little denouement at the ending where we'll explain what was lied about. But we're only going to do that for a moment over the course of this episode.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to make it interesting.
Yeah.
Because we are on, off-ish. On, off-ish?
I mean,
Sounds
it's-
like a teenage relationship there.
Yeah, I was going to say, we have no set format. We're just child.
It's just,
Yeah.
we have the concept loosely, and we do what we want with it, and you can't tell us what to do, because you're a nerd.
Yeah,
Fuck
Mom.
you, I won't do what you tell me.
Mm-hmm.
Did you...
I didn't, but
Did
I
you see
swear
the,
I felt
the
like
article that I shared? It's like a hardtimes.net article,
I
but
did
it was
not.
for Rage.
Oh, I saw the article, but I didn't read it, which is important to clarify.
You know what? I feel like this is kind of topical.
Okay, well, I have something to start with before you get to that.
Okay.
Would you like to hear, apropos, because we have said the content of this song at one point, would you like to hear Smash Mouth's All-Star translated into Aramaic and then back into English?
Ooh.
Oh, I saw this at some point, but I forget what it is. Yes, please.
I felt like this warranted. Steven, our favorite fan and listener,
Hi, Steven.
recommended this. He sent this over to me in a chat, and I was like, I have to do a dramatic interpretation of this.
Papa.
Hava Nagila, yes. There was one who said unto me that the universe was going to cause me to tremble, that I am not the sharpest cutting implement in the storehouse. She had the appearance unto me as a stupid one, with her finger and her thumb in the frame of a Greek gamma upon her forehead. Behold, the years begin coming, and do not cease from coming. Fed unto the axioms, and I fell upon the earth, and ran. It was not acceptable, if not to live for the sake of pleasurable things. Your brain increases its wisdom, but your heart increases its stupidity. A great amount to do, a great amount to see. Therefore, there is no difficult problem if we take the streets of the backside. You will not know if you do not go. You will not shine if you do not glow. Behold, currently, you are entirely a star child. Begin your power. Go. Laugh. Behold, currently, you are a master of the music. Begin your singing. Acquire your wages. All that sparkles is gold. Comets alone shatter the frame.
That is the most beautiful thing that I've ever heard in my life. And you've broke Michael.
The years begin coming, and they do not stop from the coming.
Behold.
Behold.
Behold!
You are the music maker.
All right. So
Please
this is
assert
from,
your tort reform to Congress.
This is from dailybonnet.com.
Give it.
And it was after the Rage shows were announced and the whole debacle with people not being able to get tickets. Rage Against the Machine smashes capitalism with $300 concert tickets.
Right in the mouth. Just smash-mouthed them.
Now, when I was reading, I read this out loud to Becky, and I couldn't suss out what some of the words were. Yeah. Behold. With ticket prices starting at $190 for nosebleed seats and soaring upwards from there, legendary leftist rap metal band Rage Against the Machine has successfully reached its target audience. And what's the target audience there? Is it the bougie? Is that what
The bourgeoisie?
The bourgeoisie.
Bourgeoisie. Thank you.
Holy dear God, Michael pronounced a word.
Without
I
seeing
googled
it.
that.
I'm having palpitations. I'm sorry. Give me a moment.
We've always felt our
Palpitations.
audience back in the 90s were a bit too pro, said singer Zach De La Rocha. I think we finally found our niche. 1%ers. The band has stated that the best way to fight against social and economic injustice is to price poor people completely out of the market. It's just one way of giving back to the community, said guitarist Tom Morello. Oh, and by the way, there's a strict black tie dress code at all of our upcoming shows. The floor seats at their Winnipeg show will be reserved for members of the bourgeoisie only, while seats in the bleachers will be available to the petite bourgeoisie and kulaks?
Kulaks?
Kulog?
Kulogs?
Culottes?
Kool-Aid. Anyway, the best thing about our ticket prices is that I guarantee there won't be a single Mennonite in the audience. They can afford it, they're just too cheap. But anyway, so I had this guy that I went to high school with, and he commented on it. And obviously this is a joke article.
I'm so upset.
I mean, maybe I poked it a little bit by leaving the caption, probably the best article I've read in a while, also listen to better music. This guy I went to high school with, he's like, hey man, like, I know we're older, but that first album still slaps hard. And if people want to channel their frustration over the current clusterfuck into 2000s new metal, then go with God. There's not a lot like that vibe in 2020. Also, Run the Jewels is on this tour, and I'm happy for them. To which
I didn't
I'll
realize we were
paraphrase-
issuing a press release.
Yes, I'll paraphrase. One, Run the Jewels would be the reason that I go see this tour. The reason I'm not going to go is because I don't want to.
Good
I mean,
reason.
I respond back to him and I'm like, hey, completely get it. There's no harm in if it's something that you're having fun with, that's great. I think Run the Jewels is great. I would go see them play. But to your comment about that vibe not being present, I then list 4 local bands that you can go to a small to mid-range club here in Phoenix for $15 to $30 instead of $200 anytime.
Support your local music scene.
Yeah. And he goes, yeah, but are you going to be able to stand in an arena with tens of thousands of people shouting, fuck you, I won't do what you tell me, over and over again in a very scary-ass election year? And I said, I just yell that randomly in grocery stores. Does that count?
I actually go into daycare centers and scream that. Goes over really well.
But I thought that was really funny. People get so overly emotional about the silliest, smallest things, like a band that hasn't been relevant in a long time.
And that's not me saying.
And it's not me saying that they're not a good band. There's a difference between being a good band and a relevant band. You know, like I frequently
and
every
we
single
would
month.
know.
Yeah. Well, no, for fuck's sake, like every single month, I feel like it's every single month, I'll send Shane a screenshot, and it's usually like something I'll listen to at the gym. It's like, oh, hey, I'm checking this record out again. This record that came out 20 plus years ago or even 10 years ago. I still like it, but man, is it rough. You know, like, you can still enjoy it, but it doesn't mean I'm going to go spend $200 to go see you on a Jumbotron.
I think the difference for a lot of people is probably like Rage is the originator of a style, and it's something that is often emulated and never really duplicated. Because, I mean, as far as really encapsulating that moment and having some sort of a political agenda and a band that is that tight, because, I mean, the soundscapes that you get from Morello, which are really difficult to match. There's not a lot of other people who manage to do that skillfully.
I'll give you that.
Without sounding masturbatory. So I get why people are excited. I like Rage a lot. I still enjoy it. But I mean, it's not like in my regular rotation.
It sounds like I was making fun of my buddy, but I agree with him. First record's still great, or what is it, Battle for L.A.?
Mm-hmm.
L.A.
The question, I think, is why the fuck do you care? Like, really, at the end of the day, why do you need to pop off about this on my social media? It's just, I put something up because it amuses me. We don't all have to agree with one another.
Funnily enough, too, the engineer for the first record, or first little EP, he commented and he was like, yeah, well, come on, you know, the proceeds of the service fees are being donated to charity. And I was like, yeah, that's awesome. That's well and fine. Yeah. I'm sharing this because this clickbait article made me laugh out loud. Literally, it made me laugh out loud. But yeah. So, Michael, if we do have some sort of a topic today, you said that you had one because you're the golden child, is what you were saying earlier?
Oh,
you said that it's all about you and what you like.
Because Goop was, a very popular episode.
Oh,
and
don't forget about fanfic.
The fanfiction was also our greatest episode ever.
It's our greatest
hashtag.
Weren't we just circle jerking each other off over that episode like 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
You're assuming that I remember 2 weeks ago.
Okay, fair. So I had an epiphany when I was doing research for this mini part of the episode or whatever.
Okay.
A lot of people enjoyed Goop and that fanfiction episode, and I think it has a lot to do with the fact that you guys are really good at knocking on me, but also you feed off each other very well.
I'll knock you all night long.
Please.
Can I leave the room first? I don't want to see this. I just got through with talking about people getting their cocks bit off.
I guess we can add that to the agenda. But so I was like, okay, well, what if I were to try and act more as a facilitator so that you guys can, have discussion and I can join in too.
Anti-mediator? Like you
want to be the chum in the water for the piranha to descend on. Yeah.
Is this why you've had a couple beers because you're emotionally preparing yourself to get beaten?
Yes. Please?
Oh, hey.
Daddy?
Well, if you want me to disappear, all you have to call me is Dad.
That's why I said Daddy.
Shane, do you have some housekeeping? Queeping? Wait, you get like 18 and the one I do, I get crucified?
Hey, it's not that you don't comment every time I mispronounce something either, Captain Clusterfuck, so you can dial that shit right back.
Don't you have house cleaning? Didn't you lie to me? Didn't I
did
call
lie to
bullshit
you.
on you?
Yes,
and then you
yes.
said,
It's
no,
in
that's
the show
truth.
notes. I had it in for last week. It was Hugo that was the Scorsese film. It was still a Scorsese film,
I didn't
however,
know that was a
so.
Scorsese film.
Yeah.
I've never watched
For
it.
the listeners that don't remember the context, you were saying that
The MacLeod had contributed music to a Scorsese film, which when I was called bullshit on, off the top of my head, because frankly I didn't care to remember.
Wolf of Wall
Yeah, I
Street.
said Wolf of Wall Street because it was the most recent thing I thought of that was relevant to the article they published, not remembering that there's all of a sudden a weird children's film that was associated as well. So it's,
I'm not mad.
oh,
I'm
you should
just
be.
disappointed.
as you do.
No, you didn't. So.
There was also another thing, follow-up that I put on the show notes, specifically something about people wanting to hear about your story with the swine flu.
Oh, yes. So, I was harangued over the fact that I did not call anyone to come help me, or that I did not, order in medicine or all this other stuff. I was like, for context, kids, this was, again, 2008, 2009. It was at a time where we did not enjoy the modern conveniences that we do today. For instance, when you have
Electricity.
and indoor
Motorized
plumbing, Hummers from people's mothers. But I mean, this was pre-Uber, so, and also I wasn't going to call a cab and be like, oh, by the way, I have the plague. I'm sorry. Just cover your mouth before you take me to the doctor. I couldn't have gotten any, DoorDash delivered. So it's like all of these things we normally associate with the current situation we are existing in didn't exist at the time. So it's just a little different. So I appreciate that everybody thought I was a moron and was just, The other thing was, I also am not really that opposed to the idea of dying. So I was like, well, if this is how I'm going to go out, I'm just going to wait until the delirium takes me into that fading, ebbing tide of the ocean of my life.
I'm gonna
Fuck
be real.
you.
I thought when I gave you the would you rather die in the next 5 minutes or live forever, I thought all of us would choose die in the next 5 minutes, and you guys really threw a curveball at me.
I hadn't ejaculated in at least 4 hours when you asked me that question. I think with a clear mind, I would have easily said death.
The main benefit to filling your body with poisons is that you forget things that you've seen.
I thought it was going to be you coming out later on someone else's face.
So sometimes when you revisit a video, you're like, oh my god, look at this new video. And it's not new. You've seen it before.
You were just stoned out of your fucking mind.
No, I'm talking about in the morning.
I
sleepy
see.
morning touchy times.
It's not like I need a roulette wheel, like I need a different face every day. I will take the same person multiple times.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
why you get in a
I'm married.
relationship.
Yeah, that's
So, I mean, it's
textbook.
not breakfast cereal. You don't have to have the sample back all the time. Hold on a
sugary.
second, kids. I need to turn this. And we're back.
And how.
Mm-hmm.
Also, congratulations, Melissa, on your gainful employment.
I'm very excited for her. It's going to be nice to actually get to be a children's librarian.
because Shane was banned.
I now I get my pick of the litter every time I go in. Just gonna take a basket in with me and a straight jacket and just be like, "Oh, I'll have 3 of you, thank you."
I've never heard a relationship end before. Right now. I can feel it snap.
It's like, and again, she turned off the episode, and we're not talking.
It's like he's picking up this cute dog that is your relationship, and you just snap.
Snap the head right
Good
off.
night,
It's like,
sweet prince.
oh shit! I was just being me. I can't help it.
Speaking of ridiculous things that you can see on the internet.
Ooh, I like that segue.
That's
Great.
Sigourney segue.
The
Segue.
sequoia. Oh my lord!
Oh man.
I was gonna say before we devolve too greatly.
Well.
I have you seen the Nosferatu television show yet?
I watched 3 or 4 episodes, and it's completely different while being the same.
You and I hit the same spot. I got through the 3rd episode and I shut it off. Now the question is, when it was like, the scene that got me, and this is no commentary to fall in the standard operating. There's nothing wrong with that. The whole sex in a library thing, once the librarian just had a random girl walk in and start going down on her, I'm like, we are pulling taffy already. We're 3 episodes in, and you're, like, contriving ways to keep characters. And the librarian's one of my favorite characters in that book.
Yeah.
Like, I really
Super
loved
strong
it.
character.
Really entertaining, the whole Scrabble pieces. Like, I love the parts they get right. And again, I'm probably going to go back to the show. Because the reason I broach it is, we talk about this routinely of, like, the book is this fully fleshed out and formed entity. And so any derivation of that turns one of 2 ways. You're either, like, taking a giant, like, taffy pulling situation and then trying to make it into a pretzel to just, keep the same shit going for longer for a television show. Or then you have to make it a fishbone for a movie and sort of, like, break it up so it's easily digestible.
And we're in the taffy pull.
Yes, and I was like, I don't need this. I really don't.
And it's weird, even when I saw that it was being made into a show, I think I would have had an easier time if it would have gotten the HBO Outsiders treatment, where there's a really big push right now for miniseries, which is brilliant, because then you don't even have to do the fishbone thing with movies. You have 10 hours or 12 hours to flesh it out, and I think with most books that are like average length books like Nosferatu, like, you have the time to really, really suss that out. The reason I stopped watching Nosferatu, one, I did not obtain the whole season illegally. I was trying to binge through it, like, right when it came out, and Bing Partridge, it just was ruined for me because he has interactions with other characters that he's not supposed to have or even know about. And that was actually the main kicker for me, because it ruins the whole timeline of the book and the trajectory.
And the gas mask man stuff goes out the window.
It ruins the whole thing. Yeah. And now we've isolated it down to 1.5 people that really know what we're talking about.
But I also just kind of hit, like, Zachary Quinto is
great.
Phenomenal.
In fact,
I love
when
that depiction.
read/listened to the book after seeing him as that character, him as Charlie Manx is iconic. Like, it's a beautiful fit.
But also, like, her going to live with her dad and him not immediately rejecting her. I'm like, you've defied the nature of what kind of drives her and, like, the romantic relationship later in the book. Anyway, we can devolve for years, but I was thinking about this in, like, relative to the way we...
up to the Phoenix Fan Fusion
And
panels.
that was my segue into your plug, since you insisted you were going to do this all the time and then dropped the ball last episode. So
I was really, really busy sauteing cock.
Weren't we all? Anywho, so, by the way, in case you didn't know, we're going to be at Phoenix Fan Fusion this year, kids, May 23rd through 25th, so we're going to have a plethora of panels for your eager ears. Stop on in and check us out. We'll have some dates and more further information for you, like solidified times, and we'll hit you with the topics again some point soon, but just keep that in the back of your mind, because, ticket purchasing season, it's upon us.
Oh.
So, and you know where you can get those?
Where?
On the internet.
Gasp.
That's a corny segue.
Oh, yes, the internet. Well, you can't just get it anywhere on the internet, You have to... There's certain rules you have to follow in order to procure said tickets.
First
go to
rule, take your dick out. Even if you don't have one.
You should already have it out.
My wife does not understand the subtle art of having a hand in your pants while you're relaxing at home.
I was like, my wife doesn't understand the subtle art of having a dick.
Too.
That's fair.
Hey, everyone loves the Al Bundy, okay? It's comfortable, and you need to make sure that the boys are prepared in case any action becomes available.
I'm going to go ahead and spoiler real quick. Michael's going to talk about the rules of the internet.
All right, I guess if we weren't going to, do any foreplay, we're just going straight to the action.
I've been licking the asshole here for 5 minutes, and you just burst out.
We do have something to talk about.
You're welcome. I figured I'd bring that back up for you.
Well, I think we'll finish where we all finish.
At the asshole.
Crying?
Michael, tell us about the internet.
Okay, so, contrary to what the name may imply, the so-called rules of the internet are not laws enforceable by any official authority. Surprise, surprise, there's no cyber police.
Oh, there are. Called Republicans.
Done goofed. Rather, there are a series of in-jokes, guidelines, and references related to internet culture as it was in the early 2000s. I hope you're ready for a time warp.
I live in a time warp, motherfucker. Don't intimidate me.
So
Fuck
it
you, I won't do as
originally...
you tell me.
Angry fist all the way up your ass.
It originally it emerged as a kind of netiquette for an netiquette.
Excuse me, netiquette? I don't think
Yes.
you're supposed to say that anymore.
Not hungry. Thanks.
For an internet group named Anonymous. So I won't talk about them.
Remember,
essentially-
remember.
Too late.
The 4th of November.
Guy fucks over here.
The rules of the internet were published on a satirical wiki known as Encyclopedia Dramatica in 2006. Before an attempt at a more official list, it begins, emerged on a terrible website known as 4chan that I lurked on when I was younger because I was an incel. Yeah. In 2007. There's no one consistent agreed upon set of rules for the internet. The originalists claimed, for instance, to have 50 rules, whereas it actually only had 18. Some later versions had 48, whereas others had 100.
Breaking news. Virgins can't count.
I won't cover any rules directly related to Anonymous or 4chan because they're not
you're
really
trying
interesting.
not to lose your personality and your employment history and your social security number. And
Like
They're
you're not
only
gonna
really
talk about,
interesting if
like,
you know
picking
4chan's
kids
culture.
out of a children's library.
Yeah. Like, if I mention B, it won't matter to you guys. Yes.
John is like super strong with the talking over people today. He's got the
What?
He's got the spirit.
Huh?
Hey, John. Knock knock.
No.
Interrupting cow.
What?
John Watkins.
I will use a list that I got from a website called TV Tropes, which do either of you
Bullshit.
know...
That doesn't exist.
Oh, yeah,
Ouch.
let's establish this. Are there lies in this, or is this
Yes,
just
there
fun
will be
times?
lies.
Okay.
There will be whole rules that will be lies.
Oh, there will be lies.
Okay.
Well, let's see if you can suss them out. I'll do what you did earlier last week, and I will say that there are a grand total of 4 lies.
I don't
But
have that much attention.
If
I'm
we
sorry.
skip over a rule, I'll mention if it's a lie. So then I'll be like, okay, now there's only 3 lies. Something like that. I have a lot of rules. Most of them are just easy shit. So if we talk about them, we talk about them. If we don't, we don't. Whatever. But do you guys know the website TV Tropes?
No.
Is actually... I'm surprised. I'm
I
surprised
don't
you
spend
actually...
any time on the internet.
Yeah, Shane,
Oh, okay.
he only
It's-
uses it for porn and porn.
Do you know what a trope is?
No.
Wait,
It's
no,
what you throw
really?
over your stuff in the back of a truck.
Okay.
It's what I use to hang myself out of my severe, crippling depression.
So for those not aware, it's a sort of wiki for common/overused themes in any form of media. That is what a trope is. Okay. So like a Mary Sue would be considered a trope. It's a very powerful character. It's essentially Ebony Darkness, Dementia Away from Ray. Whatever.
Or Luke Skywalker, according to Ryan Johnson.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah. So stuff like that. Like, I actually had. Yeah. You know what? Why don't you tell me when I mention gunslinger? What is something that you would associate with that sort of trope?
Clint Eastwood.
Ron Jeremy.
Okay. Stuff like that. Yes. So it's like it literally encompasses like what like that title would be.
What?
Sean Bean.
Exactly.
Well played.
Okay, cool. So you guys understand that. I just wanted to throw a little history because I actually like that website.
You know who Sean Bean is, right, Michael? He died in Fellowship of the Ring.
Yeah.
Also, he died in Game of Thrones.
One does not simply just not know about Sean Bean.
He also died in Equilibrium.
Oh, I've never watched it.
He didn't die in National Treasure, which I watched. the
he
majority
died
of that
inside.
He died in Ronin.
earlier. Okay, so the first rule: the internet conspiracy.
Fucking Woody Allen over here.
An internet conspiracy's truth is inversely proportional to its sanity, meaning the crazier it sounds, the more likely it's true.
Okay.
Sounds reasonable.
Okay.
2 girls, 1 cup.
That just sounds crazy enough to work.
2 cups, 1 bra.
Wait, so you're
Wait.
saying it's just 2 girls eating shit?
Who mentioned shit?
Out of
Just
a
talking
cup?
about a cup. Literally a coffee cup. What goes in and comes out is
Like
not our
soft
business.
serve.
ICUP.
I hate that band.
I
What?
have all their albums.
Rule 14. Always argue with trolls. They'll give up eventually.
I'm calling absolute fucking bullshit on that one.
Yeah, I wanted to give an easy one.
I
yeah,
appreciate that you actually left a little bit there dangling for me to feel decent for once.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The-
we've all... I saw
Ooh. This is what I wanted. I wanted story time.
on Facebook one of our mutual acquaintances in the music field that we may or may... I saw
Sam
some...
was posting because someone trolled her.
No, it was someone's birthday, and someone randomly... And they commented on her page calling her a very derogatory term. And she responded back, and she was like, "Do I know you?" And he responds back,
Of course
"I'm
you
the
do.
devil, bitch, happy birthday." And she goes, "Oh, well, I just went onto your profile and I called your mom and I let her know what kind of things you say to strangers on the internet. So before you troll somebody, you might want to make sure that your account is private." And it escalated
Ooh.
to the point of that being a lie. It was almost like a page and a half worth of him responding like one-liners, calling her everything in the book. It was disgusting to the point where at the very end he was like, "And look, none of your fans are coming to defend you." And I was like, "I'm gonna come." Nope. Walking out of that one. But yeah, they will never back down. Some people just they want to watch the world burn kind of event, you know.
Well done.
Yeah, because that actually, Rule 14 actually is, do not argue with trolls. It means they win. So,
Don't feed the trolls, kids.
exactly. That's a good story. I like that. Rule 19, the more you hate it, the stronger it gets.
That's so true. It hurts.
Relative
I'm not
to
gonna- That's
advertising,
not bullshit
yeah.
at all.
Yeah, it's one of
Even if it is bullshit, I hate it.
Because
and it's
John's,
stronger.
John's chlamydia will testify to the truth of that claim.
Have you ever hated something so much that it consumed you entirely and you spent your whole life chasing that?
Yeah, I mean, she's going to be a mortician now in the great state of Kentucky, I think.
It's actually Alabama, and she can't read, so it's... Roll Tide.
She tried to feed the troll, though. There's the problem.
Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez.
No banana bread for me. Not hungry. Thanks.
Rules 30 and 31.
We told that story.
Wait.
We did.
Yeah,
like,
that was
3 episodes ago. I
yeah,
believe.
something like that.
Oh, sorry. That's just...
Not hungry.
It's okay. Still fat. Still not hungry.
Top 5 favorite friendship story, I think.
Yeah,
It has
it's
to
up
be in the
there.
top
It's in
5
the
for
running.
me. Not because it's at your expense, but because it's at both of our expenses.
Oh, I think it's at her expense, actually.
Yeah. Fuck.
He's just reminiscing over there.
Jesus,
Hey, I mean,
Jesus HC.
You
know?
could tell the story about the fact that we could have log jammed her. I mean,
Oh.
Oh.
if
Should
you
I?
want to devolve, why
Should
the
I?
hell not? I
This
mean,
is freeform.
Right.
if we're going to
Yeah.
be defamatory here, we might as well do it to the nines, balls
So
deep.
if
as it were.
anybody was listening and heard how one of my ex-girlfriends thinks that a fat person is just a fat person with no name.
To be fair, we both had beards as well, and apparently
that's
that's
right.
all you
That's
need.
right. Yeah. And apparently
Damn
all
bears.
Logan and I need is blonde hair, and we look alike.
Wait, you guys aren't twins?
I offered him. I shit you not. The shirt he came in wearing is the shirt that I'm wearing right now. And I had a couple of elderly women in the next room over who had just served wine, and I was like, "Hey, do you want to borrow my hat so they don't know that we had a shift change?"
Your beard
Anyway.
is kind of fucking up your tag team game, though. I have to say,
Yeah.
because you
It
do
was
have a degree
almost-
of separation
It was
now.
almost intentional. But now I have people that come up and they go, "Oh man, your beard, you really, last time I saw you, you hardly had anything." I was like, "Yeah, what can I say? It's my genetics." Just
Good old trim genetics. Yeah.
anyways, so while I was dating this gal, Shane was coming over regularly. We were doing a lot of writing and just hanging out in general.
I feel it's important we give her a name From this point forward, we will refer to her as Clitosaurus Rex.
No, we'll just call her real name, Liz. Anyway,
its visual acuity is based on movement, so...
So Shane and I had made plans for him to come over, and I don't remember. It doesn't matter what we were going to do.
Yeah.
We're just going to be hanging out. And she was home that day, and he knocks on the door, and before I can even get off of the couch to go get the door, she sprints from our bedroom, opens the door, to Shane being kind of very surprised, almost like just a flinch, right? Like a natural flinch that you'd get.
Like the pizza guy who was not expecting you to be nude when you answered the door.
Yeah, and she goes, "It took you fucking long enough to get here." And she grabs him by the belt, like right above the zipper, like the center of the belt.
Uncurled my belt and held on to it.
Drags him, like literally pulls him, and instead of coming to the living room, she takes him into the bedroom, and she throws him onto our bed. Shane and I's bed.
That we share with his mother on milking days.
The reaping. And Shane, you got it from here because I was kind of flabbergasted. I stayed on the couch for probably a solid 30 seconds
John was
before
in
I came
there.
and
She
investigated.
immediately straddled me and is just like, "Oh, yeah. Oh, fuck." And I was
It
like...
was bizarre.
So I went, okay, is this how this is going to start?
Is
Because
this how I die?
I've seen adult films that begin this way, but I just never believed
Well,
it happens to fat boys.
It's very... Let's go...
Oh, sad.
Let's go ahead and say that this is the kind of like... Chauvinistic's not the right word.
But it'll do in a pinch.
Yeah. The stereotypes that you see. Yeah. Shane and I had a conversation at some point in our friendship, very sarcastically, kind of, like, mainly sarcastic.
We've talked about it. It's going to
She's
be
like-
the first T-shirt we market of "You can't fuck crazies with impunity."
Well, that, but also, like, you have that, like, very, like, guy and friendship thing where you're like, oh, yeah, I'd totally have a threesome with you. Like, you know, just, you know, Eiffel Tower, you know, do the little
Wobbly
sandwich.
H, yeah.
Yeah. But then the moment that you're faced with the possibility of that almost being serious, we kind of looked at each other and it was like, this isn't real, right? This isn't happening.
It was that half moment where we're testing the water. Where like, okay, well, I'm ready to take my dick out. How about you? And,
we played cock chicken.
Yes, and I lost.
I think we all lost in the end.
It was the rubber chicken at the end of the day, so it's fine.
We're talking about the girl that when she quit her job at Lowe's. How
low can you go? That's the question.
She was so embarrassed that she quit the job that she wouldn't go back and empty her locker. And she's the one who quit.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, hey, don't you have like a couple dollars in there? Like maybe some Tupperware and like other shit, like actual like gizmos, or not gizmos.
Your dignity and self-respect.
I was like, shouldn't you go get those? And she's like, I just don't want them to see me. Sorry, I'm really still... What happened to the Tupperware, Liz? What? It's not about the Tupperware.
It's my fucking Tupperware.
It's about the
Couple of
Tupperware.
dollars. That was good Tupperware, man.
By the way,
Recyclable and freezer safe.
let me know the next time we're moving to fucking Africa.
Sorry, Steven. Sorry, Melissa. Sorry, God. That was the story.
That was beautiful.
Man.
She was borderline on being like Katie Morgan on me for a second. It kind of scared me. If you've ever seen
Morgan.
Katie Morgan, who featured in Zack and Miri Make a Porno, the blonde who frosts the cake.
She had the same voice.
And Katie Morgan's thing in adult films again, since he already said Melissa left 20 minutes ago when I talked about her story time. When she was in the throes in flagrante of passions, she would just instruct the gentleman to give it. And yeah, so it was, give it back. And yeah, we're just like,
Be kind, rewind.
she almost did like the old, what did we call that, where someone like hooks their chin over your shoulder like it's a hanger and just hangs on there. The girl that
It's the
dry
chin
humped
lock,
you
yeah.
with her chin. Yeah, she basically did that and it's like, give it. Like, No. I don't know what to give. I've got nothing. I've got no place else to
Counterpoint.
go.
No.
Not hungry. Thanks.
Michael, I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
Speaking of barreling over your topic,
Oh, this is great. Rules 30 and 31. Girls do not exist on the internet. Internet. And then tits or GTFO.
are those the same rule or are those two
Rules
rules?
30 is the girls and rules 31 is the tits.
So
Is
basically,
30 bullshit?
No.
I have ensured we are going to be popular on every corner of the internet by the very nature of my being here. You want
Nice.
tits? You got them. You want cock? You got them.
I cover everything.
You are the Swiss Army person.
I'm like transvestite porn. I guarantee you something's going to get you. You're in my demographic, whether you know it or not.
To quote the scholar Michael, bruh.
Oof.
Capital bra movement.
Capital oof.
Okay.
Bruh movement.
Bran muffin.
Rule 32, pics or it didn't happen.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Okay.
good stuff.
Reasonable? Yeah.
Now my favorite one, I'll say actually this is a cluster of rules. Rules 34 through 37.
Okay, so Rule 34 is infamous.
If it exists, there is porn of it. No exceptions.
Indeed.
Rule 35 is an extension. If there is no porn of it, porn will be made of it.
Guaranteed.
Absolutely.
36, no matter what it is somebody's fetish.
Yeah.
I'd say. It's a
That
very
cluster
good rule.
is very fair.
Yes.
And then, no matter how fucked up it is, there is always something worse than what you just saw.
There's always a bigger fish. I can believe it.
Cool. I'm glad we're all in agreement with that.
There's probably a lie in there somewhere because you're really confident about it.
Well, also, I worked at Tower Records for long enough doing cover tears, which, for those of you who have existed in this century for long enough, back in the day, when they sold magazines routinely in large volumes, anything that you didn't sell, you could actually get a refund from the publisher for. So you would rip the cover off and send all of the covers into the magazine so that they got a quantification of the numbers that you didn't sell.
Oh.
The magazine, however, was yours to dispose of as the retailer, which means every porno mag that was available in Tower that didn't sell left out of the back door with the merchandisers, and I was the main merchandiser. So, I had my own distribution ring for a while, which also there's a cohort of mine who will remain nameless, and I hope there's no correlation or corroboration of stories from other people, but he left with, they had free sample discs in Hustler back in the day, and you would get 3 or 4 scenes. He had one of those giant CD carrying cases that you used to keep in your car of just those porn discs.
Steven, you dog.
Beautiful.
And gave it to me when he needed to purge it from his home before his wife divorced him. So
You aren't taking this.
Shane, you saved a marriage.
I did.
Yeah.
It's my first attempt. And then I made a marriage later, which I'm sure I'm going to dissolve at some point. So,
Easy come, easy go.
it's the title of my
Brought you
sex
into
tape.
this world, I can take you out.
Also the title of your sex tape.
Indeed.
Rule 38, if the glove doesn't fit, you must acquit.
That's
That's bullshit.
fucked up.
Okay, cool. I'm glad I didn't... Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually a continuation. It's part of that earlier cluster. No limits of any kind apply here, not even the sky.
Okay.
Talking about sexual fetishes.
I feel like we're on what is this, 28, 27 episodes?
This is 28, I believe.
I feel like we're on a 28 episode streak of just talking about pornography.
Uh-huh. Yeah. It's,
It started with Dixieland.
Because when we started running through last episode, I was listening with Melissa, and when you said, we get to this point every time, she turned to me, she's like, and her eyes got a little bit, she's like, he's got a problem. It's like, you're not wrong. And actually, by the way, Michael,
Our friendship was built on
it's a fine point. We spent a lot of time. Do you want to tell that story at some point? The big sausage pizza discourse that you and I had?
That is not, it will never be my story to tell.
Okay, all right. Well, at some point, remind me if we ever need material. We have 2 stories that are in the, shoot here that may eventually be deployed if we have desperation.
Cool.
The Slosha the Meat Grinder story,
Oh my good God.
which will be 2 hours long, or the big sausage pizza.
Fair.
All right.
Remember that, listeners,
Saga.
in case you ever have questions.
Cool.
But that rule, by the way, Michael, is if the cock don't fit, you bash the clit.
And if the clit don't fit,
You exit.
I was going to say Brexit, but thank you.
Yes, well done. Slow clap for that one, John. Well done.
Yeah. If I knew how to put in sound effects, that's where I would put it.
Oh,
Thank
put it
God
in.
you don't.
Yeah. Same.
I know you didn't.
All right. Rules 34. Wow, I'm just cycling back here. Rules 39 and 40. Caps lock is cruise control for cool.
I
And-
love it. Oh my God.
Even with cruise control, you still have to steer.
Reasonable.
Yeah.
Quit screaming at me.
You sighed. I feel like
Oh,
you-
I'm just trying. I don't have any stories. I'm hearing the rule for the first time, so now I'm trying to retroactively go back in every interaction I've had where someone caps locks and just. I believe it. I don't think any of it's bullshit.
Have you ever heard that phrase before?
No.
Really? That's something I heard going long back in school, in
Look at
high school and
Michael
everything.
his
Okay.
big old dumb balls.
I think the interesting point to mention here as well is I actually did not have the internet at my home for about 5 years.
I would yell at him
Oh.
constantly.
I legit did not care to have the expense of paying for the internet, so I didn't. And so I existed without it, which I was not very popular with at least 2 individuals who wanted to spend time with me at my home, but actually refused to do so because they couldn't get on the internet while they were there.
But the best part about Shane's place, still and at that time, is that he has such an immense library of DVD, Blu-ray, and books, comics. You never would want for anything to do. It's just a matter of picking.
It's,
Fair.
for the sheer volume of money you spend monthly on paying for, previously before the cord cutting happened, cable or internet or any of the other things, I easily saved like $150 to $200 a month.
I bet.
Just
Truly.
cutting
I
the
bet.
amenities. And, I entertained myself just fine for nearly a decade. And that is why I can barely make a fist these days. You get to the point you're so desperate, you just lube up the inside of the refrigerator door and just start working it out of the plastic.
That's why there's no sealant around it.
That's
Linda
why there's
was-
a lot of milk in there.
Linda was just a phone call away that entire
I know.
time.
If only I'd known.
If only he paid his phone bill. He doesn't believe that.
I send smoke signals.
Rule 43. The more beautiful and pure a thing is, the more satisfying it is to corrupt it.
That sounds legit.
Yeah, that also sounds like my teenage years.
As
Keep in
your
mind, the people that made these rules are
Satanists.
Neckbeard, incel bitches.
both and neither.
The Pornhub algorithm.
You gotta tell it what you want, man.
Let's
And
see.
I want to, destroy something beautiful.
It's so beautiful to kill it. Rule 46. The internet is serious fucking business. Serious fucking business is in all caps.
Because caps locks is
Sorry,
cruise
can you,
control for cool.
Can you control the distance you are from your mic and, read that as it's intended to be said?
The internet is serious fucking business.
There you go.
You're welcome. Rule 50. A crossover, no matter how improbable, will eventually happen.
I mean,
Yeah.
Alan Iverson taught us that. We know this to be true.
If you want, I can actually go to fanfiction.net/crossover/TV, and you can tell me one of your favorite shows, and I will tell you a funny crossover. I'll even read a little blurb of it if you want.
Boy Meets World.
Boy Meets World? Oh, I think I saw that. Give me 1 second. Continue to talk. Why is that your favorite show, or why did that come to mind?
I have John's answer prepared for him. It is Topanga.
What?
Topanga Lawrence, yeah, she was a real sexual awakening. Actually, no, it was Rachel. Rachel's
damn
the one
it,
that got
Girl
me.
Meets
Really?
World.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why
Tall
is Girl
drink of
Meets
water.
World first? What the
Just
fuck?
sultry enough to saunter into my room
There's
in the hot and sweaty
oh,
moments.
actually, you know what? There is a crossover. I think I have it already. They did a I Know What You Did Last Summer kind of crossover because Jennifer Love Hewitt was an episode.
Oh.
Because it's an episode where, why do I know this?
Because you really love
It sounds
Boy
like
Meets World.
it is your own fan fiction that you wrote.
There's an episode where Corey and Topanga are having relationship issues because Corey
Wants
made
to put
out
it
with
in the butt.
yeah, he made out with a girl up at a ski lodge when he injured his ankle on the skiing trip.
Like you do.
And she nursed him back to health. They made out. It was a big thing. But anyway, so while the relationship is in peril, he's having a dream, or Sean's having a dream, the friend's having a dream, and it ends up being satirical of I Know What You Did Last Summer, where they're getting like stalked around the school by a mysterious killer. Jennifer Love Hewitt ends up being in the episode. She dies, everyone dies, and it turns out the killer was Sean the entire time.
By the way, you and I both had Sean's haircut at some point.
We did indeed.
Which is really nice.
It didn't look good on either of us.
It's a good connective tissue. Also, in Boy Meets World, a professional wrestler was featured.
Yeah,
Big
Vader.
Van Vader, who was...
Why do I remember everything?
He was also being managed by Brother Love at the time, who was, in point of fact, non-canonical, because his actual manager at the time was James E. Cornette, the star of Jim Cornette's Drive-Thru and the Jim Cornette Experience, which I listen to weekly.
Okay.
You're welcome.
One more Boy Meets World thing before we hear the actual crossover. The guy that played one of the bullies, I would have to remember his name. He's in My Name is Earl. He was in Mallrats. He's the one who's
Jason Lee?
No, he's the one that looks at the painting.
Oh, Ethan Suplee.
Yeah, did you see the news about him?
I did not.
He's jacked now.
Well, I mean, he'd have to be.
100% jacked. Like, scary jacked. Like, probably could pick you up and fold you over 6 times and shove you up himself.
Okay.
Jeez.
Can I mention I almost got into a fist fight over Ethan Suplee at some point?
Okay.
I was at a high school party with a bunch of faculty because I hung out with the staff. I did not hang out with my contemporaries.
Well, where else are you supposed to get drugs?
Or pussy. And
Posse!
so I showed up to this party, and one of my teachers brought her drunk asshole boyfriend.
Nice.
And he was a piece of shit. So he came up, and this was... I still had hair at this point, so
Gasp.
I don't know where the hell this came
12?
from. You'd think. Actually,
Years
it was
old?
10, and it was on my balls. So the guy came up, and he's like, "You look like that guy from American History X." I was like, "I do not look like Edward Norton or Eddie Furlong in any way, shape, or form." He's like, "No, the fat one."
Oh, man.
Shots fired. So
Ouch.
I
Bruh.
asked him if he was keen on, discovering what the floor tasted like, because a curb stomp was coming his way if he wanted to be that familiar with American History X. And we were parted very quickly.
That also sounds like Rushmore. Have you ever seen Rushmore?
I have not.
Except in Rushmore, there's the romantic tie where the student wants to be with the teacher.
Oh.
And he essentially, I think it's one of the Wilson brothers is the boyfriend. And
If you're going to cast an asshole, if it's not me, it's one of the Wilson brothers.
asks the student some question that's supposed to be just whatever, a similar thing to that. And he's like, "Well, I'm a high school student. What's your excuse?" Anyway, Michael, what's the crossover? Because we tangented.
Do you recognize a wrestler named Sean Hunter / Jeff Hardy?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean,
There's
I
a
know-
crossover with Boy Meets World and wrestling.
We just talked about that.
Fan fiction. What? I was paying half attention.
Okay,
but
well, this fell on its face.
All right, well, fine,
But at
then.
least
I
we got
guess
to
we'll
talk
back
about
out
the
then.
finer points of Boy
wait,
Meets
how
World.
is Jeff Hardy involved here?
Okay, so this is a romantic thing. A couple of one-shots that I wrote with the pairing Sean Hunter / Jeff Hardy, so as in they're in a relationship.
Okay.
Includes Corey Matthews, which is, I assume, a character from
He's
either
the main character, yes.
from Boy Meets World. Okay, as well.
Sean is also the character, the one we were talking about with the hair.
Oh, okay.
So they created a relationship where, boy
They
on boy.
with
Uh-huh.
a wrestler.
Yeah. You know what's funny is Melissa and I were talking about this with Supernatural as well. Apparently there are a lot of people who ship the brothers with each other.
Oh yeah, Wincest.
What the
Hey, I'm going to go ahead and asterisk this real quick. I'm proud of you guys. This is the most off-topic, on-the-topic we've ever been. So,
I told you.
It's a good, loose fit topic. Here.
From the guy who admits he has ADD, I think we're... So that reminds me, who likes pie?
Huh? What? Okay. Yeah.
If it's Mary Elizabeth Winstead, I'm totally down for Wincest.
There's also a fan fiction crossover with Supernatural and Boy Meets World. Just so, yeah.
Oh,
we don't need
what? How?
Boy Meets Supernatural. The story begins when a terrible tragedy destroys.
Oh, this is just
Corey's
terrible fanfic. Never mind. I don't give a shit.
What? You thought I was going to give you like the next Moby Dick or something like that? Like,
No,
no.
I thought the rule meant something along the lines of inside of these shows there's a crossover no matter what in one shape or another, you know?
Why are we bringing Moby into this?
Fuck Moby.
Well, he claims he's fucked plenty of people.
Yeah, I'm never going to read the book.
I'm not hungry?
Thanks.
There's a lot of semen in that.
Rule 63. Speaking of semen, kind of.
There she blows.
For every given male character, there is a female version of that character and vice versa.
That reminds me of Shaun of the Dead. Have you seen Shaun of the Dead?
A long time ago.
It's a vehicle driven by Simon Pegg.
Yeah.
So in Shaun of the Dead, when the zombie outbreak happens and he gets his squad together and they're going through the wastes of...
To get to the Winchester?
Yes, on
for
their way...
some Wincest?
It all comes back together.
On their way to the Winchester, they're going through the back alleys and the backyards, and they come across a group of his friends, and literally it is the most comedic shot, I think, and it's probably top 5 in that whole movie. They're all passing each other, and as they're passing, it's identical opposites of their characters. And they all interact with each other in the way their character interacts with everyone. So it's great. Like Nick Frost is next to another bigger guy just going, huh, and passing by.
Yeah. So if they were all different genders, then you could say that was a good Rule 63.
Did you just swallow a bit of your pride there?
Kind of. I had a small series of strokes there.
It's not easy to please me. I know.
God damn it. Good pull.
There's only 2 more rules.
It's also what I told your mom last night. But...
You're too good at this. She said, fuck it, I'm gonna come.
Rule 66. Everything has a fandom.
I thought Rule 66 was execute all of them. Oh, that's Order 66. Sorry.
Unfortunately.
Star Wars kids.
Huh?
Order 66.
So everything has a fandom.
Everything.
Everything.
Cool. I do believe
including us.
I don't... That's bullshit.
I would.
The rule's bullshit.
Congratulations. We just called you out.
It's not. But given enough time, there will be fan fiction of us. Oh, glorious fan fiction.
Yes.
Anyway, the last one, Rule 69. If 69 is...
to 69.
Careful.
I wish. If 69 is written somewhere, you must respond with nice.
I like it. Hey, Michael, maybe you have your finger inside of the person that made this, but what does it mean when people are like, oh man, that's rough, type F, or smash F?
Oh,
what's that mean?
That's from one of the Call of Duty games. I don't remember which one because I only played, I think, Modern Warfare, and that was it. But there's a scene where one of the characters they're dead, and you're attending their funeral, and you walk up to their coffin, and literally the button prompt says, press F to pay respects. And that's where it comes from.
I love it.
I'm 90% certain of that.
So, listeners, type F to tell us to fuck right off and never record an episode again. What's that? The line. It's blowing up.
They're all G? Huh?
I can feel it coming in my hair tonight.
Michael, we didn't catch all of it.
Nope, you got 2.
And there's 2 we did not get.
The first one, which I'm surprised, in internet conspiracies, truth is inversely proportional to its sanity. The crazier it sounds, the more likely it's true.
I mean, that lie in and of itself is the truth to that composition.
Also, you
The
really
above sentence is false?
rigged the question because things are so crazy now that I'm believing anything.
We are in the middle of an election year, sir. Nothing shocks me anymore.
Shit's scary. I'm in
Fair.
danger.
I'm in danger. Do you guys want to do any last minute guesses?
I bet my Wookiee!
No, hit me, daddy.
Rule 69. I couldn't find an actual Rule 69, which I was a little saddened by. I spent like 5 minutes searching for it. And
We were too busy trying to make the joke.
nice. Yeah.
You did set that one up well. I'll give you that. I believed it. Yeah, Michael, do you eat butt? Keep that. If you edit that out, I quit and I'll kill myself on live television.
Keep it.
But he had such a good proposal. I couldn't say no.
That's why we have.
We
to
had
keep
this
it.
conversation at band practice. By the way, guys, that's what band practice is. It's like 30 minutes of actual work and then 20 minutes of talking about. In 2020, we are very woke people. Do you eat butt?
And then the logistics behind eating butt,
Like, when do you
and
eat
how
butt?
one is comfortable about eating
trigger
butt.
warning about butts.
Spelled B-U-T-Z.
I also like tennis.
What is this, the 90s?
It's pronounced da butt. So
Michael,
yeah.
Do you,
that was my.
Do you lick butt? Do you eat out butt?
When do you eat ass, Michael?
Only on. Was today?
I don't
Tuesdays?
eat ass on a
Go on
Friday.
record. I am butt free since. I want to say butt free since '93 because that sounds good, but I do not eat the booty.
You're butt free since 2003, as a matter of fact.
That's fair.
Ooh,
Yes.
that's
Yeah, I
better.
don't eat the butt.
No. Why not?
I just don't want to eat. I don't want to shit where I eat.
You don't want to eat where you shit, actually.
Tomato, potato.
Can I have some Alfredo?
Just because I enjoy the taste doesn't mean I'm going to put my mouth to the faucet.
Here's the thing. I'm going to say the exact same thing that I said when I was asked this earlier, which is, it depends on where you're at. Because I'm not going to order a steak at a restaurant where it looks like they have not cleaned anything in the back for at least 4 to 5 weeks, and there is that blazing, health code warning on the front of the building that says it received a D the last time that it was there.
Fair.
Case in point,
Yeah.
if you get the D, I'm not eating there.
That didn't rhyme, and I was really, really disappointed in that.
Well, you should be.
Disappoint, yeah.
Do we have a topic for next week?
If Michael actually, if you're looking for a researched thing, yes, we do. We have the one that was proposed to us. The Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster.
Ooh.
So I do have that researched, and it's in the barrel. It's ready to go.
Okay.
So, but that is, unless Michael wants to do.
actual
Was this
serious
your
topic?
researched?
It was
episode?
my research one,
Okay,
yeah.
all right. I want to
We
make sure
actually
we
looked
weren't
through those.
shortchanging you.
Yeah.
So
Trust me, you'd know, because I'd be bitching about it and muttering to myself and be like, oh man, I wish I could.
we've had enough of that.
You are
today.
very vocal on the group chat.
Am I?
No, it was a joke.
He was
Most of the
referring
time
to
I
you
just-
as a keyboard warrior
Thumbs up or the heart or, hey.
Or F.
or
Yeah.
dizzy
F,
eyes.
F, 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 F.
Fap, 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 fap.
Ooh. I don't know. That just reminded me of the old days.
Fapping?
Yeah, just the word. Have you heard anyone say fapping recently?
I just did.
Well, aside from just now. Fap in my mouth there.
Clip that.
I'm tired, okay? Leave me alone.
Lovely to meet you. I'm Shane.
Michael, thank you for the rules
You're welcome.
of the internet, even though they were terrible.
Now you're literate. Take that knowledge and use it on the interwebs, please. I'm not even talking to the mic. What the fuck?
Mike is off mic.
Yeah.
Go fucking figure.
Jesus.
And because of the rules, there is a porn for it. Or it will be made.
It's some
Mike's
super
off
hot
the mic.
mic on mic action.
Oh, I pictured myself. Would I fuck me? No, I wouldn't fuck me.
We have to see it every week, motherfucker.
I
it's-
watch you fuck yourself routinely.
I used my tears as lube.
That was one time, and it was Valentine's Day.
Are we watching anything besides porn that's really fun? Anything? You've mentioned Nosferatu.
The Royal We. I just had a Ben Affleck screening session.
Okay.
I watched Argo and The Town back to back the other night.
I would watch both of those again. I've only seen them once. I liked
Great
Argo
films.
when I watched it, and I don't remember enough of The Town to really give an
Is
assessment.
The Town the
it's
tiny
great.
one where they're tiny? Or am I
Excuse
thinking
me?
a different actor?
The posture that you assumed when you asked me that
He got
question,
super serious, guys.
and then
he went
you're-
from slouching to like.
I was trying to
straight rigid.
remember.
he's
And-
crossed his legs, so he's now Prince's tiny feet right here.
What the
Yeah.
fuck?
And
What-
then you
His
start,
feet never touched the floor.
and then you're squinting at me, so it was like my grandfather was asking me what those newfangled contraptions called toilet paper.
Wait, there's paper for toilets?
I mean, it's not intended for them, but they still eat it. It's against doctor's orders.
That makes
The
sense.
Town is a vehicle featuring Ben Affleck, where he is on a group of individuals from Charlestown, a subsect of Boston, which is purportedly the place where the most amount of bank robbers and truck thieves are sort of sired out into the world, whelped, screaming into existence. So it's a heist film
I'm a
featuring
sucker for a
Hawkeye
heist film.
himself.
Yeah.
Wait, Hawkeye?
Yeah, Hawkeye.
Cockeye. I've been watching Ozark for the first time, and I'm on season 2, and it is beautifully stressful. And I think about you, Shane, a lot when I watch it because I feel like it would be something you would like immensely.
I have heard this before. I fully intend to watch it. So
It has very strong Breaking Bad vibes.
that's
Yes.
also what I heard. Yeah.
Without the cancer angle, it's essentially, it's like, what if Walter White didn't have cancer but instead decided to use his skills from the onset, and then was kind of like, oh, maybe I should stop, and then you have to watch this very stressful 12-hour or 10 hours of, do I want to stop?
Just that slow decline.
Or
of
once I
sanity.
decide to stop, how is the universe going to try and prevent that from happening? So it's not a show for Becky to watch. It's definitely just a me show. Becky's not a fan of bad things happening for the sake of bad things happening. I think Melissa's probably the same way, too.
The Schadenfreude is not very strong with those ladies. No.
Yeah.
I
Which-
tried watching that. It was too stressful for me.
Yeah.
I was
It's-
also watching a bad time in my life, so I probably might give it another go around.
So last week,
That's how when
5
I
minutes
watched
ago.
Black Mirror, outside of just being an existential nightmare in and of itself, like, I started watching Black Mirror for the first time when I was not mentally in a good space for it.
Oh,
And talk about a spiral.
yeah.
Oh my goodness. I'm
There's-
sorry for all the people I talked to after watching that.
There's still at least 1 or 2 episodes that I haven't watched the last season because I won't, because it's stupid. But there's a couple of the older... I have
know.
strong feelings about that. I have issues as well, but that's beside the point. But there's at least 1 episode from the earlier seasons that I refuse to watch. It's the social media one where you can rate each other. The stuff that's being like implemented in China. It gave me such a... mainly, I actually know. I watched it and I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I was like, they were all upset about, their image and stuff. I'm like, I could be ranked 1, like, unless it's denying me freedoms as an American, and I don't really care.
Merca.
People can look at me and be like, look at this fucker, and I'm like, whatever.
They do on
Make
a
me
daily basis with
sandwich.
me.
Speaking
anyway.
of, hey, fucker, what are you listening to?
Listening? You mean watching?
With your eyes. What are you listening to with your eyes?
Actually, the girlfriend and I have been watching the, End of the Fucking World? I'm sorry, End of the F asterisk.
That first season was so good.
Yeah, I really liked it.
I was going to say, it is an election year. I'm watching the End of the Fucking World as well.
It's very British.
Yeah.
That's
Logan was telling me about the second season.
I like it.
He
so
was
far.
kind of rallying for me to watch it as well. And because I was telling him, and I'll tell you, that at the end of the first season, I was like, there's no way there's going to be...
Same.
What more can you do? Because it could be its own standalone thing, which I'm, again, a very big fan of. And the ending would have been fine, but to know that there's more after the conclusion.
I'm probably like an episode or two from being done.
Nice. How is it?
And I watched chapter 2.
Do I need to rewatch one before I go in, or is it
No,
do a
they
good
do
job?
enough ones you see it
exposition?
like last year or something like that. The
Sure.
flashback should be fine.
Cool.
They're pretty good at catching people up, so
Yeah, I mean, that's
you'll
the
be
churn
fine.
and burn culture we're in, so...
exactly.
Speaking of people who do it right and actually execute
I thought you were going to say raw.
Do it raw?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
Good lord.
that's what's on my mind.
What about Good Omens?
Good Omens is probably the best adaptation of a novel that I've ever seen in my fucking life, to the point that this isn't me saying that I'm never going to reread the novel, but I'd almost rather rewatch the series over and over again than reread the novel.
They did it
Wow.
phenomenally. Did not have to pull the taffy, didn't go around the corners to try to keep it long. They're like, hey, this is what we have.
It hit literally everything about the book that I loved, and then it smoothed out parts of the book that in my mind were visually ambiguous. Thank you for the reminder. I need to really pressure Becky into finish reading the book so that she'll watch the show so that I can make it our thing. Or not, that sounds bad. So
I
that
know what
I
you meant.
can
So I can
partake,
force you to share
so that
my
I have a
opinion?
reason to rewatch the series again, because she's the one who bought Good Omens, and then she got busy because she's the breadwinner, and I just sell beer and record podcasts and make mediocre music with people I love,
Ouch.
You are the leech dangling off of her ass cheek.
and off of your taint.
You're welcome.
Anyway,
Taint good.
need to get her to finish reading that. That's
It's
great.
It's a great book, and I really enjoyed the show. They nailed it. So, on
Melissa as
things
well?
that we recommend to watch. Yes, Melissa really enjoyed
Awesome.
it. Plus, I mean, how do you not enjoy, when
David
you've got
Tennant
Michael
and-
Sheen and
yeah.
Dave
Man,
Tennant? It's like,
the
oh my god.
12th Doctor is just fantastic. Oh my god.
You're
I'm an
fired?
idiot. Yeah. He's
That would
the
be
11th. Wow.
No.
Wow. No, he's the 10th.
That's the
Jesus
10th,
fuck.
you
Oh,
silly...
oh.
You
All right,
have
I'm
just
done.
been banned from every discussion about Doctor Who for the rest of our lives.
The Sherlockian fandom has probably put out a hit list on
How the hell
head.
did you lose David Tennant, who's quite possibly the most famed and well-repudiated Doctor of the
our
group?
generation.
I would say of all. That's the one that people commonly
the older
point
people
to.
think like the fourth one. Like, you still see people cosplaying as them at...
And he's phenomenal. I
Yeah,
take
yeah,
nothing
yeah,
away
yeah.
from it. But I mean, the one that most people point to. I'm an Eccleston kid myself.
Same.
So
That's why I
Eccleston,
forgot.
that's
I
the
was
first
like,
Doctor of the
he's
reboot.
the
Yeah,
ninth.
the ninth.
Yep.
All right, that's the guy that I like too.
wow, that's actually quite interesting.
It's
that
the
I-
one who gets you started. Like, you always
Yeah.
want to dance with the first one
Well,
who
because
brought you
everyone
in.
jerks off to either Tennant or Smith. Like, you two are honestly the only other people that I've...
It would be
known that
actually my
like,
favorite
appreciate
Doctors
it.
are in order of the reboot up. So
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah,
even though
no
I
argument
enjoy,
there.
Even though
Agreed.
I enjoy Tennant, I think it's just a nice little escalation. In fact, the reason that I stopped watching is because I didn't like the guy after Tennant.
Capaldi.
No.
No.
Matt Smith.
Yeah, I didn't. I
was
didn't
being
like
silly.
Matt. I didn't like Matt Smith at all.
He's
and it ruined it for
interesting.
me.
I didn't
It's-
like the writer. The guy that also wrote Sherlock.
There's a lot of
And he did
interconnectivity
the
with
Dracula
his stuff.
one now too, right? Moffat.
Yeah.
I need to watch that. Anywho, I think
Yeah, we don't
That
need to
was a
beat the
bad
record
pun on
every
accident.
single day. We don't. Or
no.
every
I
single
think
week.
we can end this shy.
Just looking at, we're at an hour.
haven't
15.
haven't done a life lesson in a while.
Did you say an hour and 50?
15.
I
15.
was just like, no, we have not
Have
talked
we
for
learned
2
anything
hours.
today?
The internet is a horrible
porn.
and depraved place that only small-minded simpletons who want to nerf the motherfucking world go to because they can't handle reality. That's the internet, boys. That's the fucking propaganda that the world's trying to play off on you. And you know what? I'm fine with it. Perfectly fine. Don't have any problems. But all you motherfucking crazy assholes ruining the world with every single fucking post on your social networks, you can go suck a damn juicy asshole.
This is a
If
reference,
you
right?
wanted a fade out.
I haven't had a rant at any point over the course of the entirety of this show, which I feel like it's such a tenet of
I
my
feel like you'd be
personality.
the rant. Yeah, you'd
Yeah.
be the rant guy.
I need to do it.
Guy.
There you go.
Well, thank you, Anne Rant.
I shrugged.
Aw, jeez.
And Michael wept.
Jesus wept.
Shane, will you put this baby to bed?
Please. I don't know
No
how.
tears, please. It's a waste of good suffering.
And Lou.
My name's Shane Hunt. I have a great beard and a huge sex drive, and I'd like to thank you for listening this week to the Disinformed podcast.
It's a good try. You gave it the old college tug.
I have a recording of him talking about the social media, so I could just put that at the end and we can fade it out.
You gave it the old freshman 15, you silly French fried titty fuck.
That's my mother.
Ladies and germaphobes, thank you so much for spending some time with us this week, and we so appreciate you being here. If you like what we do, please rate and review. Find us on all your favorite social media platforms that I can't fucking stand. And we hope that you all go and enjoy us there, because I have to do it against my will. So, check us out, facebook.com/disinformedpodcast. We're on Instagram @disinformedpod, and you can find us on the Twitters, also @disinformedpod. It's Disinformed Podcast on Instagram. I'm sorry, I'm angry. I can't help it. Where's my blood pressure
Or
medication?
inhaler.
So, for the Disinformed Podcast, I'm Shane.
I'm John.
And I'm Michael.
And because we exist, there is a porn of us. And we're filming it right now.
Zip.
Just take that with you to bed tonight.
Kevin? How did you get here?
I'm ready for you, Uncle.
No, Daddy, no!
Oh my god!
There's so much cum.
I said stop the damn match!